This tale is, as all bard songs are, an adaptation. It may contain adult themes and strong language. Welcome, dear listeners, to Abyss.
Welcome to episode 1 of Abyss. So, who are you and where do you come from? Starting with Dragon.
Hello, I am Dragon. I am part of the original cast of Penance RPG. I haven't been able to play for months, so this is really exciting. My character is Nitra. She is a drow who is not expecting to survive in a drow prison for very long.
Fair enough. Freya?
Hello, I'm Freya from Norway, and this will be my first time doing a podcast. My character is Nal, the half-orc, half-elf, who has gotten downgraded from janitor to prisoner.
Fair enough. Next we have Shiraz.
Hello, I'm also doing this for the first time. My character is called Ishidoro, and he's a Dragonborn, and somehow he's found his way into prison.
Okay. Next we have Susie Q.
Hi, I'm Susie Q. I'm from Glasgow. This is also my first time doing a podcast and I'm super excited. My character is 13. She's a goblin minion and she's used to be a old wizard's assistant and has now also ended up in jail, and she used to work with Nal.
And it's the name 13, not the age, yes?
Yes, my character's name is 13.
Next we have Tauno.
Yes, hello, I am Tauno. I'm from Denmark, and this is also my first time appearing on a podcast. And I will be playing Rasthikos, a Thyreon, who had just gotten used to life in genteel poverty, and now has to get used to life in drow prison.
And finally, Wednesday LaFay.
Hi, I'm Wednesday LaFay, and I'm from the South African D&D podcast Dum Dum Die. I'm really excited to play in Abyss, and my character's name is Desolation, or Layla as she calls herself, and she is Tiefling, and now she's in jail.
So, the story begins that you're all obviously in this drow prison. None of you remember how you got there. You vaguely remember something knocking you out, or someone knocking you out when you were captured, or some kind of enemy knocking you out, and you woke up here. You don't remember any of the travelling of how you got here, or any way in or out. You are currently chained, all of you are chained at one end of this work party. There are 16 of you in all on this work chain. With you are 10 random other NPCs who we will explain in time. And at the other end of it, at the sort of far end of the chain, there are 2 drow slavers armed with quite large whips. So far this evening, you have been taken to a new sort of dig site, and you have been given very pathetic picks and shovels and stuff that look very flimsy, but you are trying to hack out ice crystals. As you are all sort of standing around, you feel the ground beneath you rumbling, and you look to the sort of left. You see a very thin corridor which leads to a lake, and you feel the sort of rumbling sensation coming from the lake. As some of you stop to look at what's going on, the drow just sort of start snapping their whips and encouraging you to keep working. As the rumbling intensifies, the drow continue to keep shouting at you that they don't care if it's rumbling, you need to keep working. And out of the blue, an enormous rock falls, crushing both slavers and the poor minion on the end of the chain. What do you do?
Have the chains come loose now since the end one was squished?
No, there's like a big bar through the end of the chain. The chain is like a sort of big, thick iron like bracelet around your ankle. It's only around one ankle, and the chain seems to have slotted through a solid iron hoop, effectively.
Right.
And the chain at the other end seems to have been attached to the drow somehow, but they're currently under a very large rock.
There's no part of them sort of sticking out from under the
There's
rock?
a couple of arms sticking out, maybe a leg, and also the sort of half-crushed corpse of the poor NPC that was at the end.
Am I next to now?
I will run through who's in the chain because we might as well get this out of the way because there's a lot of NPCs. Just so you know, I'm not going to give all these NPCs voices to go along. I'm just going to have them talk as the group are talking because there's 9 of them.
Oh, you won't do 9 voices for us in the first episode?
I was expecting more.
I'm not doing 9 different voices and trying to remember what each of them sound like. I know the voices of 3 of them. That's as far as you're getting.
Now I'm
Let's save all of them.
Closest to the fallen rock, there is what looks like a deep gnome who looks to be notably upset that the one next to him has been crushed. Next to him, there looks to be a mushroom person. Next to the mushroom, there's a kotoa, which is a fish person. Next to the kotoa is a very sullen-looking drow, male drow. Next to the drow, there is a angry-looking orc. Next to the orc, there is another deep gnome who seems to start cheering quite happily that the rock's fallen and starts poking the orc, saying, "You owe me 5 gold." Next to him, there is a small female dwarf. Next to the female dwarf, there is a quaggoth, which is a big sort of brutish creature. Next to the quaggoth, there is a dwarf-like creature who also starts cheering and looking around. And next to him, there is the lot of you. I don't know which order you're in. You can choose that yourself.
I think for the sake of their roleplay, 13 and Nal shall be next to each other.
Okay, well, immediately 13's going to start elbowing that and point upwards and be, sure is some shoddy stonework, innit?
Do we have anything on us other than these really flimsy picks?
You don't really have anything on you at all. You're in basically stripped down slave rags.
So given that we do have picks, and you said towards our end there was the seal at the end of the chain.
Yep.
Yeah. Can we try?
I start hacking at that thing with my flimsy pick.
I help.
Okay, let's see what happens. You start cracking away at the thing. Your pick seems to crack before the chain does.
Yeah. Is there any damage to the chain at all?
No. It looks like they've made them out of such a strong metal that there's no way you could escape. They've seen that coming.
I walk over to the drow crush on the rock and just start poking around the limbs, sticking out, see if there's anything useful there wearing.
Okay, roll me d20.
First roll.
Yep.
Awesome.
You find
And I got one.
you find a single glove. You find a pair of leather boots. You find a small dagger, and you also find a small bag containing 10 coins.
Hey. Well, I start putting on the glove and the boots and just keep the bag and the dagger.
Okay.
I'm going to look around. Everyone, if they have the key on them, if we can get that boulder moved, we can get free.
Agreed. Let's go, Phil. Let's
Right.
get that rock off them.
Let's see how your NPC friends reacting. The NPCs are too busy either crying or cheering that the drow have been crushed.
Oh, of course they are.
Is the chain lax enough for us that
It's,
are on the other
that-
end for
it's
all
about-
of us to get to that end?
it's about 3 feet between each of you.
Yeah, but how far can we get to
Yeah.
rock?
You basically, if you all walk, you can all move it round. It's just that it connects all of you. It sort of runs from one end to the other.
Okay.
Alright,
Okay.
let's all shuffle over.
So you're gonna try and move the boulder?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the 6 of us push, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
So
As many of you want to do strength checks, you can. Do
Strength, yeah.
checks.
I'll roll for the fun of it.
what's my strength? My strength is not good. Oh well.
My strength is 2.
What am I doing?
Between us, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. So 1 unnatural 20 and a couple higher ones. Yep. You manage to roll the boulder off the drow. It rolls down the corridor and lands with a splosh in the lake. After a bit of a minute rolling down, the drow corpses are completely crushed. The chain, it seems to be whatever they had connecting to the chain seems to be loose, but it's still got quite a big anchor on the other side that you can't seem to work out how they unhooked.
Rifle through the squashed bodies.
Yes.
Okay, you find the other glove, you
Hey.
find 2 other gloves, you find another pair of leather boots,
I hand them off to the one glove person.
you find 2 leather belts, you find
Ooh.
another small bag of about 3 or 4 coins in it, and also 2 teeth. And you also get 2 slaver's whips.
13 would like the teeth.
Is she asking for the teeth, or is she just staring at the teeth?
She's putting her hand up and being like, 13 would like the teeth.
Ishidoro looks for a second, then he shrugs and he puts the teeth in her hand. He takes
Thank
the
you.
whip, no problem. He takes the whips and he's weighing them for which one is more balanced, and takes one and leaves the other one for anybody else.
I'll grab the other one.
Okay.
Are the bones
So-
splintered?
The bones are completely crushed in, almost into dust. It's been that heavy a weight falling on them.
So there are no splinters that I could just maybe use as lockpicks.
No, it's literally the bones are totally... The ones that aren't dust are relatively intact, not enough that you could use for, lockpicks.
So the bit that was under the rock that was attached to them, is that broken? Or can I roll anything to figure out if there's a weak link in the chain?
But the chain seems to have been... Well, it seems to have a sort of padded thing as the fact that the rocks landed on it, but it's had the drow landing on top of it. But you can roll to see if there's a weak link.
Sure.
Nope. You check every link until all the way along, there doesn't seem to be any weak link in the chain. It looks like this chain has been made from a very, very strong metal.
This might be slightly on topic, but what are our light sources here?
Currently, the only light source you have is the mushroom, who is luminescent.
The mushroom person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's a bright lad.
So don't you have night vision?
I
Oh,
have
you're
a
a
night
human, you
vision.
don't have
I'm
dark
a
vision.
human being, so...
Everyone else's eyes are glowing. It's
If you're looking over all the classes, I think all of them have a reasonable chance of having night vision, apart from Tauno.
Yeah. I definitely have dark vision.
Goblins,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure do.
Yeah.
I've got some
Oh,
for both my Orcish and Elvish heritage, so...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a green dragonborn. Can I spit acid onto the chains?
Ooh.
You could try.
I will try. I just huck up flip on this thing. If I remember how to use this. Ugh. Just get a good thing going.
When you
Yeah.
spit on it, it seems to fizzle a little bit, but it would take you a long time to burn through the chains at this moment.
I lean against the wall and I'm I'll need a little bit more time to get that back.
You hear the sound of something approaching, hearing the sound of check out that noise. What do you do?
Can I pick up a rock?
You
Get
can pick up a
back in
rock if you
line.
want, yeah?
The crystals we've been mining,
Yes.
are they sharp?
They are sharded, so yes, they can be sharp.
Alright. I'll pick up one of those.
Okay. Let's just see what your NPC friends do. Okay, one of your NPC friends is shouting about how this is the divine will of Dinkarazan, and his divine will tells him that he needs to be free, and he starts trying to run towards the corridor towards the lake.
Yeah.
Does that pull the rest of us along because of the chain?
It pulls 1 or 2 of you towards it, and the rest of them are just not sure how to react to this. In lack of a better response, they seem to try and follow him.
Oh,
That starts to
yeah.
pull the rest of you along. Are you going to try and debate with them,
Do
or are you
we,
going to
do
let
we
them
know
follow you?
anything about this deity he's shouting about?
I don't think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna start standing my ground and pulling back.
Okay,
Yeah.
roll,
Shout to
roll
the
to
other
resist being pulled down the corridor.
Yeah. Is that a strength roll?
Yeah, sure.
Now looks at 13 to see what 13 does.
13 jumps up and clings to Nal.
No one moves.
Okay,
fall
basically,
over.
they've got these 6 or 7 NPCs running down this corridor who all sort of stop and jerk back suddenly as Rasthikos tries to hold his ground.
I'm just picturing like the chain link being him at one end, all his NPCs, and this tiny little goblin in the middle that's just been like pulled one way and then jerked back. And it's like,
And my drow has apparently just fallen over.
Yep. Your drow just fell over when it all happened. So between the two of you that are wanting to hold fast, you're not going anywhere.
I shout out to the rest of the NPCs, and I'm just going like, just don't go following that person into the lake where the rumbling was coming from. Get back here. Let's try and get out of these chains. Then you can go wherever you want.
Okay.
I look up, and can I do an Arcana check
On...
towards the lake
You can, yes.
through that corridor? I do not trust it.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Those voices, are they coming closer?
They are, yes. They are coming from the slaver camp towards where you are.
Okay.
There's so much arcana in the crystals around you that you can't seem to work anything out.
Damn it.
Oh, I offer Trace a hand up, and I just say, we should move.
Thank you. Yes, we need to move as soon as we can.
we've been mining a little while, haven't we?
Yes. You were all quite tired.
Yep, and the ice crystals and the sort of rocks around them. Is there any way that, I don't know, there would be sort of enough chemicals in the ground that 13 might be able to like grind some up, or, you know, she would figure out if I hit this rock and that rock, I'd burn like these rags or something and make some fire underneath where...
How would you start the fire?
Banging rocks together, probably. But a little bit of, yeah, like, you have shiny flint, and if there's like mica in the rock, you can tell that bit's going to crumble. So if you find somewhere really hard...
Probably take you a while to establish what things were and build this, but
Right.
if everyone's willing to stand and wait for about 10 minutes, you could do that.
No, it's fine. I'm just like while she's looking around, this is the kind of stuff she's thinking about.
And I just shout out to the rest of the NPCs, and I'm like, look, someone's coming. Let's all get out of here, including that weirdo who thinks whoever it is going to save him. Let's pick up the chains.
All you hear
and let's
from
go.
next to where you are is, "Come, my friends, it is the will of Dinkalazan."
Can I whip him?
You can whip him if you want. Roll to whip
So
him.
just a straight roll.
Straight roll.
Okay.
You whip him across the back, he whimpers a bit, then goes, "Yes! Yes, the pain! It is his will! It is the will of Dinkalazan!" And he starts pulling you even stronger towards the lake.
Z is one of those. Oh dear.
Can I do a religion check on Denkarazan?
You can, yes.
Should we not actually just wait for the people that imprisoned us to come through, and maybe one of them has a key, so we could always knock them out or something?
Good plan.
Yes, that is the best plan. If we can hide, perhaps?
When you're trying
I think
to
there are
work out
too many
who-
of us to hide.
Can we even run? I thought we would. I mean, we're still chained together, but was one of the ends not stuck to him?
Both ends have an anchor on them that you can't, like, unhook. It's like a chain's been slotted through all of your, like,
Yeah.
connections, so there's like
Yeah.
a big anchor on each side.
Yeah.
It's,
So
it's
we
liftable and it's
can't
not
do
that
that.
heavy, but it's very awkward and you can't get it to slide through easily.
Yeah. But if all 15 of us ran together, could we move, or are we stuck to this spot?
Oh no, you could, if you picked it up, you could easily move as a group. You have to decide
okay.
which direction you're going. As for your role on what Dinkarazan is, you don't know anything about him, but the zealot seems to be quite feverish that it's his will, and he's quite religious.
Okay.
Can I go and pick up the sailor just sort of under my arm and just
Pick up who?
hold my hand in and just shut him up with my other hand, just clamp it
He's
in front of his
quite
head?
big.
Okay.
Well, I say he's quite big. He's basically a dwarf size. He's about maybe 4.5 foot tall, but he's got quite a large beard and is quite like fevered in his eyes.
Will the people who are coming towards us find him first, or is he like at the end of
Currently, at the back of the group is the group of you. All the rest of the NPCs are towards the corridor leading away from the slaver camp.
Could we punch the guy out?
Which one?
The zealot, like knock
The
him
one I just
unconscious.
Try and punch him out if you want.
Oh, do I try it? Yeah, why not?
Crack him in the head. He blacks out. You've now got a dead weight dwarf with you.
Done this before!
Let's drag him away before anyone notices.
Okay, so one of you picks him up. I'm assuming it's going to be the strongest of you, which is probably either Rasthikos or...
I'm not very strong, but yeah, sure, I'll help out.
Yeah, I'm the strongest at 6, with Layla and Nal at 4.
Okay, so
Everyone else is at 2.
You pick the dwarf-like creature up. What are you doing?
Sort of fireman carry him over my shoulder, and I'll get over to Ishidoro and say, Dragon, if we do not end up running from here, I will occupy at least one of the people coming, and you will choke out the other with your whip.
Okay. I also suggest everyone just pick up any shards you can and weaponize yourself.
Okay.
Wait, who got the whips?
I have a dagger.
You got the
I
dagger.
have one whip, and I think Nal has the other.
I have a dagger, I don't have a whip.
Oh, okay.
I took
That's
the whip.
Yeah.
I have pointy shard. And teeth!
You see
And teeth.
out
13 has teeth.
You see a group of about 15 well-armed drow moving towards you, trying to investigate the sound.
Okay, 15 of them, okay.
Well, there's a
Tactical
very large
retreat.
slaver camp.
Yeah, okay.
Tactical retreat.
I mean, after saying that to Ishidoro, I turn around, see the 15 drow,
Yep.
still with the dwarf over my shoulder, and I'll shout for everyone to run!
Okay.
And how do our now 8 NPCs react?
Half of them can see the drow there, so they're also trying to sort of pull on their chains to move down the corridor towards the lake.
Oh,
They
Although
want to go in the lake?
one of them is on its knees, crying over the crushed corpse of the other NPC.
Can I pick them up as well?
You can pick them up as well if you want.
Everyone grab a buddy and let's go.
now let's pick up 13.
Yay! Did you see what I did, Nal? Did you see?
It was good.
So
Punched him.
you all barrel your way down this corridor, and you're standing on the edge of this lake. The immediate thing you see, the water is kind of brownish colour. It's kind of crimsony. It doesn't look that clean. It looks like there's something living in it, effectively.
Could I do a dungeoneering check on it?
Mm-hmm.
Given that I am a drow and I should know how to
Yep.
identify it. Okay.
The water seems to have coloured either from mushroom influence or something else.
Could it be from
wouldn't
rust?
you wouldn't drink from it, put it that way.
I don't think I want it on my skin either.
Is there another way out of here? Like,
Can everyone
just-
do me an awareness roll, please?
Those rolls are going well.
There we go. So we've got 2 people who notice it. Oh, 3. Great. So you notice at this point that at the other side of the lake there is this settlement, and it looks like there are torches all the way along the side of the settlement. And on one side of the settlement there seems to be a dock containing several longboats. You could make your way around the lake to get there.
Hey, look, Nal, boats!
What sort of
Run?
settlement?
As you
What are
look
we
at the settlement, let's see if one of your NPCs bothers to be helpful. He is. One of the NPCs goes, "That sloped it up."
Was that the Quotoa?
It was, yes. See, you don't even need me to tell you what it is, you know already.
slope-de-dope. Oh,
Is-
let's go there.
Yep, go for it.
Is the cry NPC I'm carrying still crying?
The crying NPC is going, "No!" As you look back, you realise that the chain is dragging the corpse of this
Oh,
half-crushed NPC with you.
Occupational hazards.
Although it has
let's
left the drow behind because they were too crushed, so...
Right, so,
Yeah. Are you going to do anything about dragging this half-crushed corpse behind you?
any of you folks with daggers can cut the leg off?
Oh god, no, that's terrible. Okay, I'm just going to pick up the corpse and carry it because this is just wrong.
I'm just holding the dagger out, which is easy to just cut it off.
But now your hands are full. 13 says this, clinging from the back of Nal.
That's point. The tiny green person.
I'll pick up the corpse. It's fine, we can get rid of it once we break the chain.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We start
So-
walking.
You
begin
run
to-
towards... What was the name of that place? Sloop-de-doop?
Slope-de-dope.
Slip-de-doop, yep.
Got a ring.
Okay.
So, you begin to slowly make your way around the edge of the lake. You hear the sound of basically horns behind you, and it sounds like the Drow are very angry that they found 2 crushed Drow corpses.
The optics are not good. We did not sell our escape very well.
No.
It doesn't matter. They would have held us responsible anyway. That's what they do. Hurry.
Let's just try to get to this town and try and find a hiding spot.
Okay.
All of us.
As you begin to move round the edge of this massive lake, you see that on the other side from the dock, like the opposite side of the settlement, you see like there's torches burning, and there's what seems to be like a massive ceremony going on. You hear chanting and the faint sound of drums.
Can I do a religion check, please?
You can, yes.
Can I use lore?
I'll ask the Quatoa who lives here.
The Kotoa tells you, considering that your 2 rolls tell you nothing, you don't know anything about it, though you can understand it, it's obviously a religious ceremony. When you ask the Kotoa about it, he tells you that that's not what the people believe. They believe in the water god, but they don't wear robes, they don't burn torches, and they sure as hell don't have drums.
Does it appear more Drow?
You can make out figures that are definitely Kotoa. They're the right height and the right sort of physique to be Kotoa.
They seem to be occupied in the ceremony, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can sneak past them without any
No, it's
issue.
like you could literally run on the side of the lake, and you've come to the boats, and the ceremony seems to be on the other side of the town. Like you can see it, but it's like maybe
So we
about
should be able to
40,
sneak
50
up.
meters away from where the boats are.
Okay.
I see.
So as we get closer, are there any sort of like tools and stuff lying around? I mean, it is a settlement.
Currently you're just running around the side of the lake. You don't see
Yeah.
any tools or anything lying around.
Okay.
As you get closer, you notice that the drums, it sounds like they're building to a crescendo.
Does it sound like they're summoning something?
Can I do a demonology check?
Yeah,
I
can
would
I do
also
that
like
as well?
to do one too.
Because I am suspicious.
Yeah.
I also know nothing.
I was going to say, can I do a linguistics check to understand what they're saying?
Yes, you can.
Oh.
It feels demonic, but from what 13's understanding from the Undercommon, because some of you speak Undercommon, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, 13 does, yeah.
Who speaks Undercommon? Is it just the Drow and
dear.
the Goblin?
I do. Yes.
The Undercommon chanting seems to be worshipping the great water god.
Okay, so when 13's translating, she's just going on like, "Oh, great water god! Oh, how we love thee! They really, really like the water god. I don't know who the water god is, but they really love him. Oh, he's awesome!" And she just
They-
keeps going until someone
if
tells her
you-
to.
13 also says the words, "Accept these sacrifices." And as you say these words, the drums stop and you hear a slight scream, but then cut silent. And then a couple of seconds later, you watch 2 bodies slide down what looks like the side of a altar on the side, and they sort of slide down, sort of fly into the air for a couple of seconds, and splush really loudly into the water, and begin floating out to the middle of the lake.
Were we able to figure out what?
Everyone, move back from the
Can we
water.
run?
Now. Keep away from the water.
Water god's coming.
Yeah. That's not good.
13 claps.
Okay, so you continue to run around the side of this lake. It's a massive lake, as I said, and these bodies are drifting into the middle. And again, you hear this one single voice speaking in Undercommon saying, "Take the bodies, feed yourself. Come to us and bring us your gift." The water begins to bubble. What do
We
you do?
continue to run away.
Is there like a run faster?
Run
Like
faster.
a way for us to run faster because we're all chained together and we need to get the fuck out of here.
You basically
You're carrying dead weight, literally.
Are there...
Yeah, but it's pretty strong. It's not an issue.
But are there any other passageways or tunnels leading
No,
away from the
basically,
lake?
every way you see, as you look up from passes to your left, because the lake's on your right, as you look to your left, you see a couple things that lead back to the slaver camp, and you hear more sounds of drow making their way towards where you are.
Well, drow were cultists. Not much difference between them.
Maybe the water god will eat the drow.
The
sorry, I was just
cultists are Quatoan, right?
Yep.
I'll ask our Quatoan friend Does this ceremony seem like anything you would do for your water god?
He shakes his head and tells you that the last time he was in Slupdudup, there was the talk of worshipping a new god rather than the god they had worshipped for generations. It seems like the youth had decided that they were rejecting the old ways.
As we're running, I'm keeping an eye on the lake just to see if I can spot what is making the disturbance.
Okay. Can everyone do me an awareness check, please?
I think those are going to be the words that I hate during this.
Someone notices, that's fine.
Yay.
One of you notices. No, not two of you notice. As you're running around, you hear the sound of and you look over to notice the bodies being pulled underwater as the bubbling seems to be in a particular place in the lake and seems to be growing stronger.
Hey, look, it got its dinner!
Okay.
Yeah, let's
How far
sure
away
we
from
aren't
us?
doing
Okay, let's go.
It seems to be from where the settlement is. It's like directly in front of the settlement that the bubbling's happening. As in, if you got on the boat, you could easily go around the edge and away from it and out the other side.
Okay.
Anyone else feel like sailing?
Can we all fit in the boat? All
It's quite the boat when you run
15
around
of
the
us.
boat. The boat looks quite big. It's like almost a longboat kind of thing. It looks like it's built for carrying stores.
Or slaves.
So room for 15 of us and one dead body.
Plus the weight of the chain.
We can use the body as a distraction. Hey, Nell, you ever seen anything like this before?
I'm sort of just squinting out of the lake and just... Do I see any shadows underwater, any indication of how big it is?
It just seems to be bubbling at the moment. As you finally reach the boat, you notice that there is no one else nearby. It's like everyone seems to be at the ceremony, because it looks like there's like hundreds and hundreds of black-robed figures standing around the altar, with the one in red, which seems to be a feminine voice screaming, "Rise, rise, O great water god, give us your blessing."
You've seen one cult, you've seen them all. Let's get in the boat.
Okay.
In the boat, maybe
Jump down
stay
here into the boat.
close.
You all climb into the boat. You notice next to the boat there are a couple of crates.
Oh.
There's a couple of like basic woodworking tools around there. So there's like hammers, mallets, chisels.
Oh,
stuff
that is
like that.
excellent. Can I grab a
Ideal.
mallet and a chisel, please?
I want to
Excellent.
grab
Yeah,
one as well,
if
and
I-
I want to start looking for any weaknesses in the chain, whether there are cracks or any
I'll
places.
drop the two people I'm carrying onto the boat and grab a crate and put it on the boat.
Okay.
Now
so
we can look in it while we are sailing.
Oh.
Do you know how to sail, big man?
I mean, we're underground, so I presume we're going by rowing power here.
Yep.
We're already in a chain gang, so
Yeah, we shall
Let's get
roll.
to it then. I will help with the rowing.
as you start in the boat and start deciding what you're going to do, you hear the sound of something slowly rising, and you look into the lake, and these two enormous tentacles rise from the water and seem to start violently thrashing around, but they seem to keep rising and getting bigger and bigger.
Far away.
15 waves.
are the tentacles getting closer to us?
No, they seem to be reaching out towards the altar.
Oh, that's good.
I keep rowing.
As
Yeah.
the tentacles get larger, eventually, this looks like two quite enormous heads break the water, followed by a gigantic torso, which just seems to keep rising and rising and rising and rising.
Does the
And-
head look demonic?
The heads look quite animal-like, but you can't really make it out in the sort of very dim light of where you are.
Tell the mushroom man to emit less light.
The mushroom man is currently panicking.
Less light. Low visibility.
Can I remove what clothes I have and like cover part of the mushroom man to reduce the light?
You can, yes.
I will do that.
If I look at this thing, do I recognize what it is? Is it the sort of animal that they're mistakenly worshipping as a god, or?
It seems to be a gigantic tentacled behemoth.
Does it have ears?
Don't know, don't think so.
On either head.
Maybe one either head, yeah. But it does seem to twitch violently. It's like it's having it's like it's hearing something, and the more it hears it, the more it doesn't want to think about it, and it just twitches its skull until both heads are sort of twitching independently of each other, and as they twitch, the tentacles are just snapping around it.
And it's going for the ceremony?
It eventually stops rising, and it seems to stand on two enormous legs, and then begins shambling towards the ceremony.
Any word on our captors? Like any word on our our slavers? Are they still coming?
You're now on the boat, so you look to the right, and you see, from where you came out, you see a group of about 10-15 drow run down, and they look like they've got some kind of creature on a chain that they're trying to follow your tracks.
Great.
I am very glad we are on a boat.
13 waves at them as well.
Is this goblin just waving, going, "Hi!"
Yeah.
I put a hand on 13's head and push her down. No.
I keep rowing blindly, considering you shut off the light.
Yeah, I'm helping row in a direction that is away from all
Okay.
of this.
It's just you that is blind in the dark, human.
Okay.
So long as you tell me if I'm rowing in the right direction.
We will.
As the creature shambles towards the sort of ceremony, you hear the sound from the one in charge in the red robe go, "Great water god, you have came to us. We thank you. May we receive your blessing."
He's gonna eat your ass, that's what he gonna do.
And as the gigantic creature reaches the edge of the docks, his tentacle snaps down and seems to crack into the side of the red-robed figure. The sort of broken body flies to the side and crumbles into a heap, and you hear the sound of screaming. Your Kotoa friend on the boat seems to start panicking, going, "No! No! Not them! No!" As
What
the
is it?
beast begins to start snapping its tentacles through buildings and crushing everything in front of it.
Nal just nods twice and just, this is why you don't call to gods.
How are the tools coming along? Any work
Yeah.
on that chain?
Can I start working on the chain?
You start chipping away at it, but it's literally, as I said, solid metal. It's not
We
seeming
chip
What about
away
if-
at the bits
What
that
about
are
if you
attached
wedge
to our
it?
legs.
Yeah, if you wedge it between the loop around the ankle, if you wedge the chisel in there and smack it, will that work?
You could try. Roll.
Can I do a tinkering check to see if there are any weak points in the chain?
You again chip at the chain. Doesn't seem to do anything, but yes, you can check for weak points in the chain.
This dice pot is worse than my actual dice.
The dice pot is very nice to Freya.
You
I mean,
find,
it gave us a
um,
couple of 20s off the bat.
You find a couple of small
Yeah.
links in the chain next to the body of the broken creature, which one of the NPCs is still sobbing on top of.
Oddly enough, that's where our acid spit was spat on.
It was, yes.
Excellent. Can we now try to...
Yeah.
How many of us can we free?
As you sort of move your way to free yourselves, your boat drifts away from the scene of destructive Armageddon effectively behind you, of this demon breaking its way through and flattening the town of Slipdedup. And as you notice the drow running along and then seeming to back off when they see the demon.
Is watching this and giving a running commentary.
I'm patting the Kotoa on the back and I'm like, I'm sorry you had to see this. It's just
Oh, that's gonna hurt tomorrow.
Oh, God.
just like wordless patting on the shoulder, just like, I'm sorry.
He seems a broken man. Well, a broken Kotoa.
You'll be free soon.
I say to Kratoa, well, they summoned it. They knew what they were getting into. I think.
Why would anything want to summon that?
You don't understand how cults work.
I am Drow. Our main goddess is a psychopath. People do strange things.
He
Also
again
called-
seems broken. As you drift away along the lake, you pass into a small river and continue rowing up the river. It's very difficult to set the other end free at the moment because the first set of chain would go through the one that's currently grabbing the body of the broken one and still sobbing. As you travel along, you hear one of them pipe up saying, "I bet you 5 gold the demon leaves at least one building alive." And it's like, "Shut up,
Buildings
it's not
don't-
time to joke." "Ah, but I bet he leaves that building."
Buildings aren't alive.
I bet you
Intact,
leave
sorry, not alive, intact.
I bet there will be 3 buildings left. 1 an outhouse.
Yeah. Who has the knife? Who has the knife?
How many of us even have money?
I have
I
money.
have some money.
None of us have money, yes. Yeah.
I have, and I lift up the pouch.
Which one of you has the knife?
I do.
Can I borrow it for a second?
Why?
I would like to free the corpse from its, situation.
Just not off.
I'll do it. I'm used to this kind of thing. Sometimes the chains would get stuck in the dungeons and I had to hack loose the corpses.
You have lived a very interesting life.
No, it was really boring. Blood and masquerades just...
Aren't you working on the chains anyway, so I can use the knife in the meanwhile?
Just eyeing you suspiciously and just... I want it back. Afterward.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
I'm
Or
going
I'll
to
stick
take
13 on you.
Since everyone's relaxing, get the light back on.
Oh yeah, Mushroom Man, you can be
want
yourself
to attract
again.
that thing?
Can you still see it?
I can hear it. Imagine in the background there's still faint screams going
It's like a
on.
sort of, What do you
Is
like?
this river big enough for it to follow us?
It probably could if it wanted to, but it seems quite content destroying the other city.
Yeah, I think it's busy.
Okay.
I sat down
think
and try and shield the lady who's crying and just try to
The lady,
Free the
it's like
corpse.
it looks like a small child to you.
Okay, well, a small child.
I'm going to take the woman aside, and
Women?
well, whoever it is that's crying, take them aside.
It's a were-gnome,
It's a
so it's
gnome.
effectively like a sort of small...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so take that person, sort of turn them so that the back is facing whatever it is Ishidoro's doing, and then be all comforting and stuff.
Okay. He is not comfortable with you taking it away from... He screams in Undercommon that he won't leave his sister.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I'm just going to release the corpse from the thing by removing a
Okay.
limb.
There's a sickening crunch.
I was
and-
careful.
Yeah.
And the leg of the were-gnome sort of rolls out and you pull the anklet effectively free. So the corpse is now free from the chain.
How big is this corpse? Can I take off
It's the
top
size of a child.
So I'll take off a bit of my robes and just kind of wrap it in so that it's put aside.
Throw it
Then
up
I
the
hand
side.
the knife back.
Thank you. Throw it
Oh,
up the
through-
side. It's extra weight.
Go through the pockets first.
We can't just throw the body off the side.
Firstly, it's squished. Secondly, it was a slave like us, so there's nothing.
What was that noise and what are you doing? I
Don't
cannot
worry,
see
keep rowing.
anything.
Keep rowing.
Alright.
Going. I will retrieve my clothing, what there is, from the mushroom man, and say thank you very much to him for tolerating it.
You hear a voice in your head saying, "You smell weird."
What language is it speaking in?
Psychic. It
I
seems to
look round and no
univer-
one else has reacted.
It seems to be able to understand every language and just speak in any language it needs to,
Okay.
which is very strange.
no-
But
No one else has reacted to this.
No, it just seems to look at you, say that, and if it could smile, it would.
Rasthikos might not react to the sound of the mushroom person, but would be surprised that you had undressed before.
It was a chaotic situation.
So the light comes on and you just see this drow putting some clothes back on.
And you're just like, whoa.
What did I not see?
I make it drill.
Let's keep rowing.
Yeah, I'm just hammering away at the chains.
Yeah.
As
Thirteen's
you
going to
continue
take over the
upstream-
directing of the rowing. So she'll be like, left a bit. Watch out for the tree. You know.
Your man, just ignore the little one.
Been doing that for a while.
The mushroom
Yeah.
seems to look towards Rasthikos, and Rasthikos hears and said, "She smells nice."
Says it to me or
To you. And again, it sort of tilts its head as if it's trying to get your approval of what it said.
What?
he
Mushroom.
said I smell nice, I think. Thank you.
Wait, you heard that?
Yeah, he said I smell nice. What's your name?
You hear and again a sort of pulsive voice in your head say, "Stool."
Stole.
Your name is Stool. You're not just being a fun guy. Are you?
The light grows darker. And he's just sort of like, oh, when the light grows dim. It seems to get dim when it's sad.
No.
Oh, is it?
What is wrong? Can we help?
I'm sorry, Stool.
The mushroom seems to sort of brighten up again when you apologise to him, and the light grows brighter.
Is he broadcasting this to everyone? Or just
No, you
us?
just seem to notice that someone is talking to this mushroom, and the more they talk to him, the mushroom's getting darker and lighter, depending if he likes what's being talked about.
Okay.
I turn to... I'm sorry, I have to get your name. The lovely person who is rowing the boat with me.
My name is Rasthikos.
Rasthikos. I say, fellow, are you talking to this mushroom? Can you? He's not talking to you.
I heard a voice in my mind as Stool here tilted his head, and well, he seems to be he seems to be talking in my head. You guys clearly didn't hear anything.
Do you not have psychic voices in the above world?
No.
Okay.
I had a cousin who said he
everyone?
heard a voice.
I see. It's not that uncommon down here.
And considering what we've seen today, I don't think it surprises me.
I don't think today's been a very common day.
You'd be surprised in the Underdark.
This is
Can I
really an
roll-
average Wednesday.
And Thursday.
There's the rat pit to clean out.
I mean, it's not as bad as the pigs, you know.
They might chew your feet off.
Where are we heading?
That's what I
That
was
way!
thinking. Can I roll awareness to see if the river's speeding up or, anything bad is about to happen?
Sure.
Just
roll.
like...
You don't notice anything different. The sound of destruction is getting fainter in the distance, and that's really all you're seeing. You're looking around and you're noticing that the river is still quite red in colour, and as far as you can see, it just seems to keep leading straight ahead.
And we're still moving along because we're rowing, but not on its own power.
Yep.
Like, it hasn't become easier to row as we go down this way.
No.
There's no current.
How are the chains coming along?
The chains are again having problems because you're trying to get it past the one that's like still hugging the corpse and crying, but you seem to slowly unhook him and start working your way along, unhooking the rest of them. So the NPCs themselves are slowly getting unhooked, and as you unhook down the line, so you unhook the mushroom, who seems very happy that you unhook it, and again thanks the nice smelling lady.
Yeah.
Wait.
Come.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I was confused about Hughes was working on the chains.
Basically just like you're sort of unthreading it, it just takes a while because of the breaks in the chain to unthread it.
Yeah.
So you've unhooked the mushroom, who again thanks the very nice smelling lady, who that's all he refers to you as, doesn't refer to you as anything else. You unhook the Kotoa, who as soon as you unhook him basically jumps off the boat and says he has to go to his people, and starts like swimming towards the wreckage of Sloop-de-Doop.
Third
So
wing,
you're saying his
bye-bye.
people need him, and he jumps off?
Yes.
Bye! Good luck!
Oh. I see.
I stopped rowing for a second.
Huh. Well, that was unexpected.
I suppose it would do no good to explain to him that it's useless.
Probably not. You can try screaming after him if you want, but
Not under the circumstances.
No.
I'll just sigh.
Relatable. And then I'm like, let's continue rowing.
okay. You unhook
Yeah.
the sort of drow in the group, who is bitterly like emo about it all and very like, why bother? We're just gonna get recaptured anyway.
And we throw him off the boat.
Tempting. We can threaten him.
No negativity in the boat.
Either you shut the fuck up and help us escape, or we'll throw you in the lake and you can deal with that thing.
But the lake, it gets my hair wet.
So shut up.
Speaking of escape, what does that exactly mean for the rest of you? I mean, some of you seem to prefer living down here, but I would rather like to have the sun on my skin again.
I would be safer out of the Underdark. Other than that, I don't care.
I mean, they threw you in with a lot of us, so I assume that's the case. You don't want to go back there.
I could go back, but I would need to bring something very valuable. And I don't think we have anything very valuable right now.
13 has 2 teeth.
That
She
is
has
the
2
little
teeth.
one.
I'll trade you.
That's okay just now. Thank you, 13.
As you begin to start freeing the orc, he starts complaining that you're taking a long time and you should have freed him first.
You want to go over the side of the boat?
Yeah,
You're not
the-
even at the end of the chain, Mr. Orc. You couldn't have been freed first.
I tell him to come over here, like I beckon him over, and then I'm like, you can make yourself useful by rowing, I'm tired.
He crosses his arms and grumbles quite loudly.
Come on, you're a strong person. Look at me, I'm all skin and bones. Come on.
He very grumpily comes over and takes over from you, but he seems very unhappy about it. As you
I ignore him.
As you start freeing the gambler, who bets you that he could do it faster than you, you hear the sound of something approaching. What do you do?
How fast? By
It
just
seems like a sort of... It's like the sound of running footsteps.
running footsteps.
We're still on the boat in the river, right?
Yep,
There's an embankment or something, right?
there's banks on either side.
Okay. What can you see? Is there...
Is
Are
it on
there
the
any other
Is it on the starboard or what's the name?
port?
Port side.
Port.
It
Which
seems to be on
side?
both sides. It seems like it's coming like together. And running
Okay.
towards you in a sort of pincer movement.
Can I look back and try and like make out in the darkness what I see?
You
13
look
would
back
like
and
to
all you can
hunker-
see is the sort of burning wreckage of the former city of Slipdudip. And the slight image of your Kutoa friend swimming his way towards the city.
No people on the sides, no people
Nope.
on the banks.
No people on the side of the bank there.
Okay.
How heavy is the chain?
The chain still got about another 3 NPCs to get through before it gets to any of you. It's just taking a long time to slide through because it's quite damaged now.
Can I help? Can I speed up this process by
Yeah.
focusing?
You can.
Like helping
yes.
out?
You free the dwarf, who immediately starts trying to be helpful and starts trying to comfort the
No.
gnome. You then try and free the Quaggoth, who is massive and has got a really awkward... It looks like he's tried to like punch his way through his anklet, so his is very disfigured, so it takes you a long time to get through. But you eventually do. And as you start trying to free the unconscious zealot, who has sort of roused slightly, you see all around you, to the left and to the right, a bunch of dwarves suddenly appear with crossbows. And
13 would like to duck.
and
I
they
would also
yell,
like to duck.
they yell at you to stop Drow invaders, and they're there to recapture all Drow.
In what language?
Dwarvish,
Ah.
like deep Dwarvish.
Do they understand Undercommon?
They do, yes.
I will speak to them in Undercommon.
Okay, what are you going to say?
Like, friends, hold fire. We are
I'll
escaping from the Drow.
They don't seem to believe you, as they look and they, although they look at you and they see that you're not completely Drowish, they point to the emo-looking Drow in the middle and go, him! He's definitely a Drow.
You think if this was a Drow trick, we would put a male in charge of it? Don't be
The rest of
ridiculous.
us. And
You
the rest
know
of us
how-
are Drow.
I'll slide up to Triss and ask her what's the conversation about.
He just plays a drow on TV.
I explained to the human, there is a bunch of dwarves with crossbows in case we are a Drow raiding party.
Why not just show them our chains?
True.
The dwarf has noticed your chains and also took your point that your, Drow would be led by females. He asks you why you're in chains.
We were a slaving chain gang. The interesting cultists in the lake caused enough disruption that we escaped.
He again sort of looks at you quite confused and says, were they the source of the earthquakes?
They were.
Shouldn't tell.
But what they have woken, I don't know if it will stay around.
At this point you hear a thundering roar echo from
dear.
the remnants of the city you left, and the dwarf seems notably shaken by it and goes, right,
Oh
but so you're all enemies of the Drow?
Correct.
Yes?
Alright.
I'm gonna be asking the dwarven friend of ours to help translate.
The female dwarf you have with you is very quick to try and jump in and tell them that you've all just escaped from basically the Drow mines, and all of you are sort of enemies of the Drow. She immediately gets somewhere with the guard, who seems to sort of back down a bit, and he agrees to take you all to the city of Gronkenstone, whereby he will make sure that you're all released from your chains and granted effectively access to a couple of supplies before you are sort of gently told to get on your way.
Oh.
So as you are all taken back, they take the ones that are not in chains away. They tell them they can leave first.
Mm-hmm.
The gambler takes the crying other deep gnome, picks up the body of the broken deep gnome and tells him that he will make sure he gets back to Blingdenstone safely, and they all leave. The Quaggoth, the dwarf, and the orc all decide that they are going to try and make for the surface straight away. The orc's insistent that they go now, and the Quaggoth starts telling you a tale that he's secretly an elf and his father will be worried about him. He needs to get to the surface without delay as well.
Okay.
So the orc, the Quaggoth, and the dwarf all head off in a different group. Oh, the drow immediately doesn't know what to do. The mushroom starts telling him that he can take him to Netherlight Grotto, where he'll be welcome amongst the mushroom men. He immediately starts complaining, and then as soon as the mushroom starts toddling off on his own, the drow runs after him, telling him he's changed his mind.
13 cheers this like it's good entertainment. She's
So,
like, yay!
the only one that's left is the zealot, who wakes up, and as he wakes up, the dwarf starts spitting on him, and he starts getting more riled up again, and they tell him that he can go and live in the slums if he wants. And
Wow.
he gets very angry about this and starts stomping off. And as you turn to the guard and ask what happened, they tell you that he is a, quote, bloody Darrow.
What?
A Darrow.
Darrow. He doesn't deserve to live in the city. He's not a high-class dwarf, he's a second-class dwarf. Bloody half-breed.
Oh, I wonder why he might be grumpy and not like you then.
That is no way to treat kin.
You're
not
just as
kid.
bad as Drow.
And he's not kin, he's a bloody Darrow.
Can we have those supplies, please?
He
On our
takes you all away towards the sort of city blacksmith, where he helps you get the last of your the last of the chains and anklets and stuff taken off. And as he does all this, dwarf in sort of noble regalia appears and says, "Ah, I see we have new visitors to the city. I think this lot will do. We have something urgent for you all to do in this royal quarter before you leave. Take it as what you need to do in response to getting all your friends that supplies they needed. Now, come on. Keep moving." And
I will purposefully move as slow as possible.
13 puts her hand up. 13 has a question.
Yes?
Will 13 be fed?
You will be fed once you have helped us.
But 13's hungry now.
Well, 13 can wait. And he
13's
leans
gonna
over
gnaw
to the guard and
someone's leg
says,
off.
"Who is 13? Which one of them?" And the guard just shrugs at him and goes, "I don't know."
Fine.
So you are all led to this royal quarter of the Dwarven city, which looks to have this massive temple in the middle of it.
Oh.
Cold silence returns. The waters lay still, for this week at least. Join us again next week for more of our tale. This podcast is an adaptation of Out of the Abyss, a 5th edition D&D adventure. It was adapted from the original story by Nikolai Popsky. The podcast features Nikolai, Dragon, Shiraz, Freya, Susie Q, Tauno, and Wednesday LaFay. All music was written and performed by Daniel Boström. Artwork was by John Moore. And if you, dear listener, wish to acquire your own sets of finest metal or acrylic adventuring dice, then journey through the Underdark to dndice.co.uk and speak the name Penance RPG at the checkout for a 5% discount off your order. Farewell and Godspeed, for we fear the madness is closing in. Good night out there, whatever you are. Ha 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 ha.